What's good, everybody? Welcome to our episode of High Learners. I got a good friend with me, my boy Sco, CEO of the clothing line Mavazi, and also an alumni of the Virginia State University. What's good, Sco? I appreciate you being here.
No problem, man.
So the first thing I want to talk about, Sco, is what is your passion? Like, what made you want to be a CEO, a business owner, one of the flyest people in the city?
Well, first started actually when I used to play football. I played football when I was younger, from like 5 to about 10th grade in high school. I was very good at it. I got hurt my 10th grade year of high school, and it kind of injured my football career. But during that process, I was playing football everywhere. I thought I was going to the league, to the NFL, and I thought I was going to the league myself. So my passion at first was actually for football. I got hurt my 10th grade year, and I got hurt. They told me I couldn't play football no more.
Okay.
So then I go ahead and went on to college. But I always been into clothing. As I always been younger, my mom has always influenced me to present myself well, because of how the color of my skin.
Right. Okay.
So, being that the color of my skin was black and she always presented myself well, the first look when someone look at you is your clothing.
That's one thing mom's always told me. That's one thing I can never get out of my head. She always said, excuse me, first impressions is everything. So I always figure whenever I meet somebody, I want to be looking my best. Because I don't want them to think like, oh, he bum me or whatever. You can be the nicest person in the world, but people still look at your appearance.
Right. So once they look at your appearance and see your clothing, that's the first thing they think. That's the first thing they see.
Right.
So I always took that serious.
So let's talk about Mom Dukes. Like, how was she? Was she strict on the clothing? Like, what you could and couldn't wear? Was she always telling you what to wear?
Yeah. So for a minute, my mom always dressed me, so I kind of got my own personal style. When I was younger, my mom used to dress me really preppy-ish. I think she took it kind of like she wanted to dress me like the men that she wanted.
Yeah.
That she wanted to dress me as a man, how she wanted her man.
Yeah, upstanding and approachable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she used to dress me preppy-ish, bow ties, Oxford shirts, a lot of cardigans, corduroy pants. A lot of little different boots, different pants. She used to roll my pants up.
Schoolboy cuffs.
Schoolboy cuffs. Oxford shirts.
Yeah.
So I really think that was a big influence on my life, on fashion. Definitely was my mom.
Okay. Well, let's talk about post-secondary education. Getting to Virginia State, going to a historically black college, and that's somewhere where people are known to be fly. Somewhere where people are known to like take a good approach on what they're wearing. So what about that made you say, you know what, I can hustle in this arena. Fashion is what I want to do.
I think going to HBCU, it really shows your individuality. Since you are so much around a lot of group of people, it shows you your individuality. A lot of people come from different states, different cities, different parts of the world.
No doubt.
So once you're in college, you can see the different cultures of how people dress. Some people like bigger jeans, some people like smaller jeans. Some people like their clothes loose, some people like their clothes fitted. So I think just going to an HBCU, you can just see the different cultures of people, and kind of that can be an influence in your style as well. You can see that's someone that's from New York and they wear their jeans over top of their Timbs. Us from DC, we don't wear our jeans over our Timbs. So that can just influence your style with different type of ways.
And let's talk about how like that made you unique. Like you said, DC doesn't really have a identity style-wise. So when you come with something fly, it may not be something that is the norm. It might be wild to someone else. But when you go home, they're like, oh, this is fly.
Right. So being from DC, since we're so small, we're not really on fashion. Our city is not known for high fashion. It's really known for politics.
Okay.
So when we come somewhere, we go to a different city. It really shows our individuality, which brings the attention from people who are not from our city towards us.
Okay.
Because they see it like, wow, their city's so small, but they so cool. They look so cool. How can they do it?
It's different.
And it's because it's a lot of different cultures in our city. So we see a lot. So as we seeing a lot,
it give you a chance to pull from other styles and other cultures and say, oh, this is hot, so I can mix this with what I already like to do.
Right. And wow, we already have our own culture as well.
Okay. So being from a mixing pot, so you already knew different cultures when you got to state. Talk to me about the transition of going to somewhere where it's not really a big city, where you can't just hop on the train and just get across town in 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh man, it was a big transition going to college, man. So, see, from being from Washington D.C., it's just all about movement. We're so used to movement, just gotta go, gotta go. It's gotta, because it's about money. Living in Washington D.C. is high. The living rate is high, so it's about movement. You gotta get money. So being in college, whereas though
slowed you down a little bit.
It was no movement. Things at a certain time was closed. Nobody was outside. There was no street lights. There was no metro buses. There's no subway stations. There's no curry house that's open where I can order from.
Yeah. Oh, it's closed at 12. Probably before that.
Yeah. No clubs. Just know anything around. It was just a major change, and just me being in DC so long and not really traveling, I didn't know things could be like that. So just being there, it just made me adjust and just wanted to experience.
Talking about that adversity, talking about the adversity, being like, all right, I'm in a different spot. Talking about hustling, and then we're gonna lead them to how Mavazi was something that you can be like, all right, I'm gonna turn this into a business. Same time. So how can I make money out of what I enjoy to do, which is the clothes? Going to school and saying, you know what, I'm fly, and I want to make money out of being fly. I want to turn this into a business. I want to be in the fashion industry. What led you to that?
So what actually led it to me was two of my great men came together, which is Devin and Tavon. Devin goes by House of Wealth, Santino on Instagram. Tavon goes by 100 M's. They came together and formed a photography and videography group called House of Wealth while we was in college. It was a group that helped up-and-coming artists and up-and-coming models promote their work, promote their art. So when they came to me with that, me being into fashion and me being into clothing, I suggested, why not add clothing into it? Why not we put something that's different from just videos and photography? Let's add fashion, something that can appeal to the world.
Right. It's different.
It's different. Why not go somewhere we can appeal to the world and become worldwide with it? So that's where it originally came from, to make money in college from Mavazi.
And Mavazi, what does that mean?
Mavazi, it stands for clothing in Swahili.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Something different.
And where did that come from? That was a collective of you guys saying, look, we're looking for something that's going to say like who we are and what we do, and that name came about?
Yeah, that was the collective. It took us about like a couple months to come up with the name, because we didn't want to be too simple with the name, because like I said, we wanted to become worldwide. We wanted the name to reach everywhere, even other countries. And we felt like Mavazi being clothing in Swahili, it sparked a change in everyone's eyes. It's not the normal name that everyone sees.
Okay, so 2019, 2020, what's the next step for Mavazi? How far do you see you guys going? Not how far, but where do you see you guys going in the near future?
In the near future, we plan on having our first storefront in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Me being from Washington, D.C., I think that would be a great establishment just for Mavazi. We plan on having a storefront, whereas though there would be clothing, you would be able to provide clothing in there. There would be photography for you to be able to do. You would be able to do videos in there. We had the green screen cameras in there. It would be like a House of Wealth studio production company.
That's hot. So basically a creative spot that is also a retail spot as well.
Yeah, a creative operation that create opportunities for us in DC that's coming up. We really don't have nothing in DC that creates opportunities for us upcoming artists, especially young, that gives us the opportunity to succeed or for the outside world to look. And right now in the DC, there's a lot of local artists, photographers, videographers, fashion designers, poets, rappers that's coming up, and I feel with what we got going on, we can create something that's good for our culture in DC that could provide a lot of opportunities for people.
And that's one thing I can say. I got to give it to you guys. The one thing I see is collaboration and the want and the need to exchange information and use it so that everybody can come together. And I think that in a lot of cities, that's kind of hard to come by.
Yeah, being from DC, yeah, definitely. In our city, it's not really a lot of support. I could say back then, there wasn't really a lot of support. A lot of people didn't want to see each other make it, I say. And I say that because we didn't really see it. There's no blueprint in DC. It's not really a lot of people that have made it. Where we come from. There's not a lot of people we can see where we say, oh, they're from Washington, D.C., and they're actually successful.
And that's something that I maybe want to get into, or I can maybe follow that path. It's kind of all the...
Right. So it's no blueprint in Washington, D.C., so it's really hard for somebody to take you serious when you do say something.
Okay.
So that's where a lot of the hate really come from.
Okay, so let's talk about collaborations. Are there any fashion artists, designers out there right now that you want to collaborate with going into the new year?
In DC or just worldwide?
Let's talk about DC.
In DC, I can say there's a lot of artists in DC that really collab with. I would say Eat.
Another big name as well.
Yeah, another big name. I would say Zella Fermani.
Okay.
That's an up and coming lady. That she has a dope line. I would like to collab with her. I really like people that design different. That really takes their own trend. That really makes their own trend and not just design off the norm.
Okay. I think we had this conversation before. You were telling me the difference between style and fashion.
Yeah, style and fashion. My take on style and fashion.
Okay.
My take on style and fashion.
What's the difference?
So, style and fashion. I believe that everyone, when they wake up in the morning, everyone feels as though they want to present themselves well.
Okay, always.
Don't you?
Hell yeah.
All right. So, when you wake up in the morning, don't you think you dress well?
I do.
Right. So my personal opinion is I think everyone believes that they can dress well. I think everyone can dress well. But not everyone has style. When you can dress well, you're well put together. When you have style, you can wear something that no one thought could be possible.
Right.
That's style. Dress is like, okay, that's nice. He's well put. Style, how did he put those 50 colors together in one outfit?
So style is like showing who you are through the clothing.
It's showing your thoughts through the clothing.
And fashion is more like just the merchandise, just having it, putting it on. Oh, it look nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So being an entrepreneur, what give me two challenges. What are your biggest challenges of being a young entrepreneur, being someone that's trying to establish themselves in the game?
I would just think people taking you serious.
Okay.
So I think you just making yourself professional and you changing the game and making them take you serious.
Okay.
So you have to actually put in that work, actually put in that dedication, that time, that 24/7 non-sleep. Actually let them know that you're serious.
And what's the second biggest thing, being a young entrepreneur right now?
Second biggest thing would be collaborations. Like I said, because a lot of people want it for themselves. A lot of people in DC don't want to see a lot of other people win.
So crabs in the barrel kind of mentality.
Crabs in the barrel.
People don't want to see the next man do a little better. They want to keep a little bit of it for themselves.
Yeah, but it's kind of getting different now. It's different now.
And that's what I like. It seems to be a whole new wave.
Yeah, we're working together now, and I feel like now that we're seeing a new wave that DC will become a high fashion state. Well, we're not a state. We'll become a high fashion city in about 10 years. Not 10, in about 5 years.
Gotcha. Man, I'm glad you got to come on to Kick It With High Learners for today. Everybody, if you want to follow Sco on Instagram, you can check him out at.
Man, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram name Mavazi by House of Wealth.
It's your boy Big Wayne. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to check us out on Instagram, it's @_High Learners. And my personal page is @_Big Wayne. We out.